Okay, so have you ever, like, when you have to give a presentation and you're just, like, drowning in research?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like AI in the classroom, right? Everyone's talking about it. There's a million articles. Who has time to read all of that?
Right.
So that's what we're doing in this deep dive.
Okay.
Like, we're giving you the crash course, the overview. We're going to talk about using AI in instructional design.
Great.
So we're thinking, like, the history,
Yeah.
the tools, the really cool benefits,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, some of the stuff that maybe we should think about a little more.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. I mean, AI isn't just some far-off thing anymore. It's
Right.
like, it's here.
It's changing how we learn and how we teach.
Exactly.
Think about it. Like, remember when just putting your PowerPoint online, that was like
Cutting edge.
revolutionary.
Right.
Now we're talking about AI systems that like learn alongside the students.
Yeah. It's wild. Textbooks that like adapt to how you're doing, whether you're getting it or not. Systems that can tell, even before maybe a teacher might even notice, that a certain student needs a little more help.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So how did we get here?
Yeah.
Because that's amazing to me.
It's a journey. It is really interesting how it's developed.
Yeah.
You know, I think back to the early days, it was really just taking what we already did and like digitizing
It's
it.
like the first online textbooks.
Exactly. Like those early e-learning platforms, it wasn't really personalized. It was just like, here's the
It
information.
was like the digital textbook.
It was.
Like the ones we all had to carry around,
Yeah.
except now it's just online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, AI technology's gotten better and better, more sophisticated. And so we're like, well, what could we do with this in education? So we started seeing these platforms that were called intelligent tutoring systems
Okay.
and adaptive learning.
Okay.
But it was still pretty basic compared to what we're seeing today.
So what changed? Like, how do we get that leap forward?
Data.
Okay.
That was the game changer. Think about it. As more and more learning went online, suddenly we had all this information about how students were learning.
Yeah.
Every click, every quiz, every time they interacted with the platform.
Seems trackable.
Yeah. Data, data, data. And then came machine learning.
Okay.
And we could actually make sense of all that data.
Yeah.
Algorithms could be like, oh, look at this pattern. Oh, I bet this
It
student.
could predict stuff.
That's when things really, really took off.
So that's how we got those personalized learning experiences that everybody's talking about.
Exactly. Now, AI can look at a student and go, you learn best this way. You need a little extra help with that, and it adjusts. It's amazing.
So it's literally like having a learning plan for every single student, and it changes as they do.
Precisely.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But what about the teachers? How does this help them? You'd mentioned something earlier about, like, AI grading papers.
Oh, yeah. It's not just grading.
Yeah.
AI can take over a lot of the tasks that teachers spend hours on. Grading, giving feedback.
Yeah.
Even coming up with lesson plans.
So the teachers have more time to actually teach.
Imagine, if a teacher could spend more time working one-on-one with students or mentoring because AI is handling the rest.
That would be amazing. That would change everything.
It could really make learning more engaging and
Right.
more effective for everyone, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
So it really does seem like AI could make education, like, better for everyone involved.
That's the hope. That's the goal, definitely. To make it more impactful, to make it matter more to the students.
Yeah.
And AI has that potential. It really does.
But I have to ask, with all this talk about AI, like doing these tasks, what happens to the teachers? Like, what's their role?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? But I think instead of taking over, what if we thought about AI as giving teachers superpowers?
I like that. Okay, so more like helping teachers be even better at what they already do.
Exactly. Like imagine, teachers who can use AI to really get each student, you know what I mean? Like, this is how the student learns best, so I can teach them in a way that makes sense for them.
It's like we always say, ditch the one-size-fits-all and really put the student at the center.
Yes, exactly. Every student feels seen. Every student feels heard. That's what we want.
And the teachers have the time and the energy to make that happen for each student.
Yeah. AI can do those other things, the stuff that takes up so much time. Then teachers, they can focus on the good stuff,
The stuff that no computer can do.
the human stuff. Helping kids get excited about learning, think for themselves. That's what makes a difference, right?
Connection, right? You
Yeah.
can't get that from an algorithm. So it sounds like we're talking about finding the right mix.
Yeah.
Like, how do we use technology but not lose what makes us human?
Yes, and that's what everyone's trying to figure out right now. It's about balance. How do we use this powerful tool in a way that makes sense? We can't forget education, it's a human thing.
Yeah. And speaking of making things more human, one thing I always hear about with AI is that it can make education fairer for everyone. Like, no matter who you are, where you're from, AI can give you access to amazing learning opportunities.
Absolutely. We're already seeing that. There are AI tools that can do real-time transcriptions, translations. That's huge for students who are deaf or hard of hearing or students who speak different languages at home.
Wow. So it's like having a built-in translator for the whole classroom.
Exactly. And for students who learn differently, students with disabilities, AI can provide personalized support.
So if a student has dyslexia, for example,
Right. They could use text-to-speech software, whatever they need to make it work for them.
that's incredible. So we're talking about getting rid of those barriers, those obstacles that might have held students back before.
It's about making every student feel like they belong, like they can succeed no matter what.
I love that. But, okay, let's be real. There are always challenges when we're talking about new tech, especially in education.
Of course, you're right. We need to be careful, look at all sides of this. AI is powerful, but it has its limits.
Right, so no more rose-colored glasses. Let's talk about the potential downsides here. What are some things we need to watch out for?
Well, one big one is making sure that we use AI in a way that helps teachers, not accidentally makes their jobs harder or worse, makes them feel like they're not needed.
Right, like we were saying, teaching,
Mhm.
it's a human thing.
Exactly. AI can help, it can give you information, but it can't replace that human connection, that understanding that a teacher brings to the classroom.
So it comes back to balance.
Finding that sweet spot, right?
Using tech to make things better, but never losing sight of what makes us human.
Yes. We need to make sure AI is a tool for teachers, something that helps them do their jobs even better, not something that tries to replace them.
Okay, so how do we even know if AI in education is working? It's not like we can just look at test scores, right?
You're right. It's more complicated than that. We need to look at the whole picture.
So are students excited about learning? Are they engaged? Are they thinking for themselves? We have to think about the whole student, right? Not just, can they get an A on a test?
Yes, all of that. And that means figuring out new ways to measure what really matters. It's tricky.
Right. But we'll get there.
We have to. Because the truth is, AI in education, it's not a magic solution.
It's not like it's going to solve every problem overnight.
Exactly. But it does have the potential to make education better for everyone, to make it fairer, more engaging. That's what's exciting.
So what's next? Where does AI in education go from here? What are you most excited about?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. There's so much happening right now. But if I had to pick one thing, I'm really interested in how personalized learning is evolving.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that a little before. What's on the horizon? What's coming next?
Imagine a platform that knows when a student is getting frustrated or bored and changes things up to keep them engaged.
Wait, like it can actually tell if a student's bored?
Yeah, some platforms can read facial expressions, even analyze how a student is typing to figure out what's going on with them emotionally.
That's wild. That's like having a learning buddy who can tell when you need a break, or maybe when you need a challenge.
Right. That kind of personalized support, that's huge.
It's like having a learning experience that's designed just for you.
Mm.
No one else. That's amazing.
And it's not just about personalizing things in the moment, it's about looking ahead. What if we could use AI to tell which students might be at risk of failing or dropping out?
And then step in and give them the support they need before it's too late.
Yes, we can catch those students before they fall through the cracks.
Wow, that's incredible. So we're making sure that everyone has a chance to succeed.
Exactly. And it's not just about helping students who are struggling. It's about challenging those students who are ready for more.
So it works both ways. The same tech that helps a student who's behind can also help a student who's ahead.
Exactly. Everyone can benefit. It's about creating a learning environment that works for everyone.
This is blowing my mind. Anything else we should have on our radar? Anything else that you're like, oh, this is really cool?
One thing that I think is so important, especially now, is making sure that students understand AI.
You mean like AI literacy?
Yeah. It's more than just knowing how to use the latest AI tool. It's about understanding how it works, what it's good at, and what it's not good at.
It's like we're saying, okay, you're going to live in a world with AI. Here are the tools to not just use it, but to get it.
Exactly. To understand it, to ask the hard questions about it, to help shape what it becomes.
Because AI is going to be everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll touch everything.
Everything. How we work, how we connect with each other, how we, try to solve those really big problems.
Right. So how do we actually teach AI literacy? Like, what's that look like?
I mean, some places are adding, AI classes,
Makes sense.
which is cool, but it's also about weaving it into what students are already learning.
So like math, science, writing, all that.
Exactly, because you can use AI to help students think critically, solve problems. Those are skills you need no matter what you're studying, right?
It's about showing students, here's AI in the real world.
Right. And not shying away from the tough stuff. Like, is this fair? How is AI going to change what jobs look like in the future? We need to be having those conversations.
If we want to make sure that we're using AI for good.
Exactly.
Right.
100%. And that's why I think it's really interesting, this whole idea of human-centered AI.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that term, but I'm not sure I totally get it.
It's about making sure that AI, it lines up with our values as humans. It helps us be better, not, I don't know, less than.
So it's like AI working with us, not instead of us,
Exactly.
and in a way that we can understand, that we can trust.
Yes. Especially in education, right? We don't want to create a system where teachers and that human connection, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
AI should be a tool, something that helps both teachers and students do amazing things together.
We keep coming back to that human connection.
It's what matters.
We can use AI to enhance it, to make
Yeah.
it even stronger, but we can't lose sight of it.
Well said. And that's what makes me so hopeful. AI in education, it has the potential to help people learn and grow in ways we never even thought were possible.
It's like
Ah.
we're at the very beginning of a whole new world.
Right.
And AI is our guide. It's pretty amazing.
I love that. And we're not just shaping the future of education, right? We're shaping the future, period.
That is definitely a big thought to end on.
Right.
Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with me. It's been eye-opening, exciting, and maybe even a little mind-blowing.
The pleasure was all mine. This was fun.
And for everyone listening, keep those great questions coming. Keep learning, keep exploring, and let's see where this journey takes us. Until next time, happy learning.